Now let us welcome the man himself, United Steelworkers International President, Brother Leo Gerard. You might wonder why I'm wearing a tie. Because I have the president of my home local 6500, sent me an email last night and said, what are you wearing tomorrow? I'm going to wear a suit and tie. So I said, well, if you're going to wear one, so will I. He snookered me again. But again, that's the price of loyalty, right? Let me acknowledge a friend of mine, someone from Sudbury who's been at the back for a while, the Director of District 6, Wade Fraser. As Ron Dupuy said, the park is not finished yet, and you can be guaranteed that we're going to hit Wayne up for some District 6 money to put in some hedges or something. Let me say that I'm really humbled by this, and it is true what a couple of folks have already said. I would not have been able to do the work that I love so much if it wasn't first and foremost for my wife and the sacrifice that she's made so that I could do that work. And I'm proud of my two daughters, Carrie Ann and Megan, that they've grown into caring, passionate, compassionate women. They've stayed involved in progressive issues, whether it was with the political system, or whether it's getting involved in labor disputes, or whether it's just articulating their concerns for workers, and I want to acknowledge them too for allowing me to do this work. And my two grandkids, Alyssa and Leah. There's a person that Ron mentioned that isn't here today, and I wish that he was, Cy Gillette. Cy started talking to me about wanting to have a memorial park, and he's been cagey about it. He only talked about a memorial park for a while, and we talked about it being a really good idea, and that we needed something like that in our community. And then once he got it going, he said that they wanted to name it after me. That's a humbling thought, because if you look around in this group that's here now, people like Johnny Gagno, Homer Sege, Eli Martell, John Rodriguez, and so many others that have played such an important role over the years. I can remember John fighting for health and safety in the federal parliament. I can remember Eli in the provincial parliament fighting about occupational health and safety. I can remember the trip that Johnny Gagno would make over sintering plant workers. And we're not talking about workers who were killed by an accident. We were talking about workers who were killed by a terrible disease. I can remember going to Elliott Lake and Homer having led the fight on occupational health and safety so that we had, for the first time in the history of the labor movement, workers with the right to inspect their own workplace and shut it down. So that those things that have happened over the years that I'm now getting credit for weren't done by me. They were done by the people that came before me. And the only thing that I can tell you that I've done is I've stood up for the things my father taught me. And what my father taught me is that trade unions are more than an institution where you put your coins in and pull the levers down and see how many dollars fell out of the pot at bargaining time. Trade union is an instrument of social and economic justice. And you can't have social and economic justice. You can't have social and economic justice unless you have safety on the job. People go to work to earn a living. They don't go there to die. And I see my brother Marcel sitting over here. Talked to him the other day. He's got white hand syndrome. He's going deaf. He may not die from his work, but I'll tell you what, in his later years, he's going to suffer because his hands won't be what they should have been, his hearing won't be what it should have been. And that's as dangerous it is going to work and watching that you don't get a traumatic accident. The illnesses that are caused by our work are things we have to challenge and we have to fight. So I know that it's cold. In fact, I'll tell you what, yesterday at this time I was swimming, for Christ's sake. I said to Susan, I think I'm going to have to move the water line because when I come back it's probably going to be cold. I didn't think I was thinking about this morning. But look at, the reality is that we should think of this park as a park for workers. We should think of this park as a place to acknowledge those that came before us, those that led the fight for safer, healthier workplaces. We should acknowledge this park for those whose names will be on this plaque and their families. Because when that worker dies, lots of other things happen. We don't know what happened to the spouse. We don't know what happened to the kids. We need to follow that up. And then we need to make sure that, as John Claus says, we never stop fighting for the living. Never stop fighting for a better future. I can tell you this. As I travel around, and I'm blessed to have a job that I love. As I travel around the International Labour Room, when I tell people when they ask me what I do, I say I'm the International President of Steelworkers Union. My home local is Local 6500 in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, and I'm proud to be from Sudbury. I get to travel. I get to travel to lots of places in the world, and I can tell you this. Maybe it's a function of the history we've had and the tragedies we've had and the people that have been killed and injured and sick and the kind of knowledge we've gained from people like Homer and Johnny Gagno and John Rodriguez and the folks who have fought for us in the past. The reality is that the best progress that's been made in occupational health and safety internationally started in Sudbury. Started with the workers, whether it was at Local 598 and that terrible accident, where after that we started the day of mourning. Remember, April 28th is known all around the world, but it started here in Sudbury. Think about the work that we've done about safety and inspecting workers and environmental safety. So I'm honored to get this, but it's not in my name. I'm honored that my name is on it, but it's the name of the workers who have done all the work to save all the lives, to save all the illnesses, and to save all the injuries. So thank you very much for being here. I can tell you that, as Ron has said, the park isn't finished. We're going to have hedges, we'll have more benches, and we're going to have things. But I'm terribly honored to have been able to be part of this today with you. Let's make sure that we never forget that we owe it to those that are coming after us. Make sure that their life is clean, safe, that they go to work in the morning and come home, they go to work at night and come home safe with their arms and their limbs and their lungs clean. I want to thank Rick Bertrand for the wonderful introduction. Thank you very much.